Mythos about Mythos. Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. I'll deal with the controversy first. Is it Mythos or Mythos? I've heard it both ways. I'm going to run with Mythos. You've probably encountered in your newsfeed that Anthropic, the company behind Claude AI, announced a new version of its LLM, Mythos. What made it extra newsworthy, though, was that while they announced its existence, they also indicated that Mythos was being purposely withheld from public access. Why? Well, apparently, it had proved too good at discovering vulnerabilities in existing software, including every major operating system, as well as many popular tools. Instead, a select few, typically the owners of the operating system, the tools, the open source projects, and a few others, would be given access to Mythos so as to presumably correct all the vulnerabilities it had discovered. So, is it myth? Is it hype? Is it reality? It's unclear. Anthropic has played some of these kind of games with their announcements before, so it is absolutely possible that this was a stunt. Although, in this case, I actually don't think so. But even if it was, it doesn't matter. Because honestly, it's pointing out something that is much more important about the future of AI. So let's step back. Just what is Mythos? It's a large language model designed to understand how text or language is structured. Earlier Anthropic LLMs, including, and these are all currently selectable as I record this if you're using the Claude chatbot, Sonnet versions 4.5 and 4.6, Opus versions 3, 4.6, 4.7, and Haiku 4.5. If Mythos were to be released publicly, presumably it would just show up as another item on that list. Each of those families has different strengths and weaknesses, and thus is typically chosen for different purposes that align with those characteristics. The more or less fantastical claim by Anthropic about Mythos is this: we have identified thousands of additional high and critical severity vulnerabilities that we are working on responsibly disclosing to open source maintainers and closed source vendors. As a result, they just decided that Mythos was too powerful for general use, and instead they created Project Glasswing, a form of responsible disclosure, I guess, in which select participants could access the model and then correct those reported vulnerabilities. They have stated that Mythos class LLMs will be made available public at some point, but they've not given any indication as to when that might be. Now, what I find really fascinating about Mythos and this situation is that it was never designed to be a vulnerability finding machine. It's literally just the next most powerful general purpose LLM from Anthropic. It just happens to be really good at vulnerability finding. Who knows what else it's good at? Now, while it currently seems unlikely, the action around Mythos might just be unwarranted hype, or it could be completely legit, and letting Mythos fall into the hands of the bad guys could allow those bad guys to attack and exploit those thousands of vulnerabilities. Honestly, I don't think it matters. Eventually, someone is going to create that model. It'll either be Anthropic or any of the other AI companies. It really is just a matter of time. It's also just a matter of time before that Mythos class LLM, again from Anthropic or someone else, becomes available publicly. At that point, yeah, the hype is true, if it isn't already. And that's when things get interesting. Could AI fix the vulnerabilities that it finds? Well, if not today, then yeah, I think it'll happen very soon. The members of Project Glasswing are likely using every tool at their disposal to analyze the reported vulnerabilities and to fix them. And yeah, Absolutely. Those tools will almost certainly include AI. And once again, if today's AI can only help but not actually fix the vulnerabilities, it's almost certain that a model in the near future will make that leap. AI is, after all, only getting more capable. I think of it as a new race. I've long talked about what I call the race. Malware authors are always one step ahead of the anti malware tools trying to identify and neutralize their efforts. AI has introduced a new race, using AI tools to find and fix vulnerabilities faster than the bad guys use AI tools to find and exploit them, particularly since they'll be using different, multiple AI tools with different capabilities and availability. It's likely to be quite the race. But in a sense, it's just the next logical extension of the race we've been in since computers and malicious software came into existence. Does it matter? It all sounds really scary, and I guess in a way it is. If those thousands of vulnerabilities can be exploited, then various systems are at risk of compromise. Maybe even yours. Or maybe not. As my TEH podcast co host Gary pointed out, it's still just easier to ask someone for their credentials to compromise their account or system. Traditional phishing is both cheap and easy, and it is successful all too often. I believe that's where AI is going to be applied first, making phishing attempts more realistic and even more successful than they are today. Besides, in order to exploit the unpatched, newly discovered vulnerabilities, for the most part, we need to actually do something, like open an attachment or click a link. So, don't do that. Now, I know that seems like a really flip statement, but the reality is that much, if not most, of your security is in your own hands. Mythos can identify all the unpatched vulnerabilities it wants, but you're still safer as long as you avoid things malware authors try to get you to do. I expect that those most affected by all this would be the corporations and governments. While many of those are compromised, again, by simple phishing attacks on their workers, their public-facing systems are under constant automated attacks that can now easily include newly discovered vulnerabilities, with the hope that those vulnerabilities were never patched. As I've said in multiple places, we are currently seeing the worst AI we will ever see. Put another way, AI is only going to get more powerful. Ideally, software engineers will start using that ever-improving AI to find and fix vulnerabilities before their software is even released. In other words, get ahead in the race. But of course, everyone will have access to continually improving AI, including those looking to find and exploit vulnerabilities released but unpatched. The race will continue. It's a very boring bottom line. And of course, this is stuff you should already be doing. Take updates. When vulnerabilities are fixed, you want to make sure that the software on your machine gets those fixes. And keep your own guard up and remain skeptical. Phishing is only going to become more and more convincing, which means you'll have to become more and more adept at avoiding or at least questioning what you encounter. Maybe above all, don't panic. Don't lose sleep over the constant stream of AI-related news and announcements, running the gamut from save the world to end the world. The truth, of course, is somewhere in between, and many people are working to ensure that, in the long run, AI remains a tool for mostly good. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/192235. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.